Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of the 2025 season and have the pleasure of welcoming back Alice to the program. So thanks, Alice, for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. How's it going?
It's going well. We
Happy
were just
New
chatting
Year.
earlier today about yeah, Happy New Year. I think we're past the point of no return for that though, eh?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what's like the cutoff day for you for like saying Happy New Year?
When I stop writing the previous year.
Right. I did that last week.
Because yes, it occasionally happens like throughout January every single year, no
Yeah.
matter how hard I try.
It's been really bad for me this year because I keep thinking it's still 2024 for some reason. I don't know why.
Um, yeah, that happened to me at the beginning of 2024 just because 2023 felt like such a long year.
Yeah. 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 Eh?
Yeah, so when I feel like I want the year to end, it sort of like
Right.
seeps into the next year for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when does someone stop saying it? So it's just one of those things that there's really no rule to it, you know?
I think you can expand it. Like, you know how you say happy birthday on somebody's birthday, but then
Right.
they start having
Right.
birthday weeks and
Yeah,
birthday
months,
months and
summers, seasons.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, we were just chatting earlier today, like offline about how we like I like the podcast from last time. Like that was April of 2023.
Yeah.
So that was almost 2 years ago.
I actually like getting ready for this one, I went back and I looked at it because I hadn't looked at it in probably almost a year.
Yeah. It was
um
good.
yeah, I felt like it was like a lot of good themes. It was I had no idea what to expect going into it.
At the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really
Yeah.
nervous the first time. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I was really shy because, like, I think a lot of it was like I was very insecure with my voice in photography.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure if there was like a lot that I could add to it. I felt like such a novice. Like I was very
Yeah.
beginner.
Yeah, no, you were saying that because like from the last podcast, I kind of started off with the intro, and then you kind of said, "No, no, I'm like a hobbyist. Like I'm not like." And then I'm like, "Well, like everyone's a hobbyist, so really, like we're all kind of just doing our thing."
It's true though.
Yeah,
I think that's how like passions start, you know.
yeah,
You don't you don't get into something by jumping all the way in. It just sort of becomes gradual and it in some cases like when you really love something it just sort of takes over different aspects of your life.
yeah, yeah.
So
No,
yeah, I find like myself now even like during the day, like on random times, just thinking about pictures I want to take, thinking in the
right,
moment of like,
right.
oh, like I'm sitting here right now, like this is the frame that I would use right now, or this is the point of view I would want if I was taking a picture right now.
Yeah, yeah. I know from last time, it's all about being intentional, right?
It is. It still is for me. I
Yeah,
think that that's really important. Like even as you change and grow, like you keep a lot of the same like core values, you know? Like I still like I started from a place of wanting to visualize a different sort of life for myself and
yeah,
truly I feel like I've been doing that and my my pictures and the way that I think about them has like evolved through
yeah.
that. Yeah.
How so?
um, so in 2024, it was the first time that I started taking like actual pictures of people before.
Right, people.
Yeah, I started attending events with models and taking pictures with them and giving direction and just
Yeah,
um, looking at them afterwards, like in the moment, like I'm like, I think that this will look cool. And like I'll say, like, okay, like look over here, or just gesture like this.
right.
And I have it in my head, but when I'm taking them, like I don't know if I really captured it until I go back and look at them later, and I'm like, oh, that is, I do really like that one angle I got, and that is
Right.
what I was looking for when I asked that person to like hold their hand that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you kind of had like the picture like in your head.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, like, I think that it also like depends on the subject too.
Yeah.
There were some people where I just said, you know, do whatever. There was a couple of models where I said, you know, this is what I want you to think about as I'm taking the photo. Like, this is what I want it to look like.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
yeah, and I felt like a lot more. I felt like I was starting to become more confident in
Mm.
expressing my vision,
Yeah.
and it makes me feel more creative. I think that's like
Yeah.
how you become more creative, just by putting the work in and getting yourself out there. Because if
Yeah.
you don't push yourself, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
That's what I keep telling people. You got to push yourself. Right. It's all about kind of stepping out of the comfort zone. And I think that's why, like, especially in Toronto, there's so many groups, right? Like, there's so many
There
groups out
is.
there. Millions, millions, millions of
There's
groups
a
out there
lot
for
of
people.
people,
A
and
lot of people.
a lot of people like really like sharing knowledge. I love that.
Yeah.
When I mention it, like that I like taking photos, or when I bring out my camera, people will ask me questions or want to look at
Right.
my photos. I love it.
Bring it. Bring it
Yeah,
on.
yeah, no,
Bring it
like
on.
once I start showing pictures that I've taken, like I have like albums and themes and
No, it's good, right? It's great. So
yeah,
it's like
and
evolved since like last time.
yeah, like one of the things that I
Yeah.
like is that because it has evolved, and because like I've been sort of maintaining on growing my vision,
Yeah.
and I've had the idea of like what I want things to look like, that somebody actually mentioned to me not too long ago that they thought that I was like curating my social media, like my Instagram feed, and they said like that's how it appeared, and I was like, no, I I sometimes will post a picture that I've taken like 2 months ago. Like
Yeah.
I never really post a picture that I've taken on that day. And
Interesting.
it's not that I'm curating it. It's that I think that my photos all sort of have the same voice, so it just sort of seems like I am doing it that way.
Right.
But I'm that's part of like being intentional with like
Yeah.
how I'm taking photos, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like what do you want? I guess big question, but like what do you want your work to be like known for? Is there like something
um,
that you want it to be known for?
yeah, just looking at the beauty in the small corners of the world, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Um, that's what I try and focus on a lot. So even a lot of the photos that I take now, they'll be like up close, and there's not a lot of people in the photos usually.
Mm.
They'll either be of no people or one person who is like specifically the focal focus of that picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's more just to show like a singular idea, to be
Right.
more quiet, like in the moment.
Right.
You know, like I feel that it can be very loud, and it's a very busy world, you
It's
know?
very busy, very noisy.
And I find that like just taking like all these little moments out of your day and looking back on them, you just
Yeah.
there's this really unique thing that happens where you're able to preserve your own memories even within your head.
Right.
You know, so when
Yeah.
I'm taking pictures, it's also about my feeling, like what I want to feel when I look at it later.
Mm.
Um
So like the feeling changes?
yeah, um
Interesting.
it does actually.
Interesting.
because you don't sometimes people will tell me like, oh, I don't really like taking a lot of photos, I don't really think about it. Like I've always been the person in my family that has been known to like take all the pictures, like when when I have family visiting,
Right.
when we're all gathering and looking back, I'm the one with the most photos. Like I'm
Mm.
taking pictures, I'm taking videos, I'm like paying attention. And a lot of people say like, "Oh, I don't want that because I want to live in the moment." But I feel
Yeah.
almost the opposite. I feel like that is me living in the moment because I'm taking the time to like appreciate it as I'm living it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. There's always that fine line, of trying to capture too much versus like like not enough. Like where's like the line, But
Yeah. Um and it is really hard because
you know,
I find that what it can be very easy to try and take photos or have a picture in mind and think like, oh, everybody's gonna want to see this,
right.
or are people gonna like this?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've tried to like really put out of my head is the thought of other people seeing my art.
Mm. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, and it's
That's a
not
big
that
one.
I don't wanna share it or I don't want people to see it. It's more that I find that being honest in how much I enjoy something and
Yeah.
how I'm feeling in that moment
Mhm.
is more important than will somebody like this later? Is this going to be
Yeah, of
aesthetic?
course.
And that's
It's a big one. It's a
really
big one.
hard. Yeah,
Because we
it's
all
hard
because we
for a
all
lot.
because we all well, because we all feel the same way, right? We
Exactly.
all
And
want the same thing in the end.
yeah, we do. Like,
So,
and you know, it's not that I don't want people to see or I think that it's only for me, but I think that you don't truly get to express yourself creatively when you're thinking about how other people are going to take it.
yeah.
You know, when you
Yeah.
think about like the
Sure.
most prolific artists, like painters, writers, like actors, even comedians, until like one they will be very forthright and they've always been very forthright about how the most personal work is always the work that resonates with people the most. It's not
Mhm.
about like other people. It's about like what they want in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. Like, I think you're right. It has to be for you. Otherwise, what's the point? What
It
really is
can
the
be
point of it,
really easy to yeah, and it's really easy to like get off track sometimes. Like that did happen to me um, on and off for a while where, I was obsessed with would this be good? Like, will people like this?
Yeah.
I like in the beginning because I felt so insecure about my photos. I was very worried about, what other people would think.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
would people take me seriously?
Yeah.
But then once you take yourself seriously, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I don't really take myself seriously. Like I think some people do take themselves really seriously, and I just think to myself, we're all in the same boat. Like we're all doing the same thing, but we're doing it like different ways. So to me, it's like, you be to me, it's like be proud of what you've done, share it, and then just move on to the next thing. Because people forget, like they're on to the next thing. People are just scrolling. They're not even paying attention to what they're even looking at.
A lot of the
You
times,
know?
like people are looking at pictures and yeah, they'll like something, they'll just click like and they haven't even
They
looked
don't
at the
even they
picture. They
don't
don't
even
know who
don't
posted
even
it.
not even the people aren't even that's what I mean, like, as long as you're happy with it. Like, there is a craft to it, like, there is a discipline to it, like, things aren't made overnight, and I think people have lost that, where it is a craft, it is something that people spend decades on, and it's been lost in today's world, right? Where it's just like instant, gotta go viral, gotta hit this, gotta hit that. It's like that's not how it used to be. Damn it.
Yeah, it is very hard not to get, drawn in by the algorithm.
Yeah, but it just sucks us in.
Yeah.
Sucks us in. But there is a craft to it. There is a process. There's an artistic discipline to whatever you're trying to do, and that takes time. But people aren't patient anymore, right? So it is what it is.
It's difficult for some people to see themselves outside of that, just because we are so bombarded with social media nowadays.
Yeah.
It's almost everywhere. Even if you don't want it, it's there.
It's there. It'll be there. It'll be a chip by next year. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to this year I'm trying to spend way less time on social media. So I'm trying. It's hard, but I'm trying. I'm only going on my phone when I actually have to do something. There's no more random pick up the phone, and no more random pick up the phone. I'm just pick up a book instead. It's better.
That's another thing, is that people, I think, are afraid to be bored.
Oh yeah,
and
people hate being bored.
When nobody wants to sit alone with their thoughts, and that's when the most inspiration and creative.
It's scientific fact.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah,
being bored is actually, I think it's scientifically proven to actually boost people's creativity. Yeah, I don't know. I think people should just go for a walk without the phone and just see what happens. You probably get some really good ideas.
It helps. Sometimes I don't take my phone. I've started taking my actual camera out with me more.
Nice.
And I, when I started actually using my camera, I found that I really enjoy it, and I started delving into that world with buying extra battery packs, buying chargers, buying new lenses.
Nice. Expanding.
Yeah.
Expanding, which is good.
Again, yeah, it's growing my vision of how I want to see the world.
Yeah. I know last time we spoke about goal setting, how it's so hard for people to achieve their goals. So do you have a specific goal this year for you? Could be anything.
With photos, I have okay, so I do have specific goals. Yeah. I found myself
they're smart method.
Yeah. I have found that I would very much to start getting more involved in taking more pictures of models and getting more involved with shoots, and thinking more intentionally about the types of photos I want to take before I go out and and I join any event or anything. That's part of being intentional. And before last year, the theme of my year was to try new things. So I pushed myself and I jumped into so many things. That's how I began photographing models, is that I just jumped right into it. I didn't know what I was doing. But I found that a lot of the point of view that I really enjoy is almost not even, it's no longer first person, it's more third person. Really? This is close to behind the scenes almost. So I like to capture other photographers. So if I get in my shot somebody on their camera phone,
yeah,
they have a similar shot, I like having that,
That's cool. Yeah, 100%. Well, because it's also different too, right?
Yeah,
it's unique. It's more unique.
It's you're seeing it through
them.
And I'm able to take a picture of them realizing their vision.
Yeah, interesting. But that also could be your vision at the same time, because that's your vision too.
Yeah,
It's like an
and
Inception thing.
that's kind of what I think of how I think about it, you know, like a little like Inception,
It's
like
like a
spinning
whoa,
its own tail type.
trippy,
Like,
eh? Trippy.
yeah, like, are we in somebody else's picture right now? Sort of deal.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, like, and then it just sort of helps you to think like maybe we're all behind the scenes.
Maybe this isn't really reality. Maybe it's a dream. Who knows? It's all part
Maybe.
of the
I feel like
yeah,
my pictures would be better if I was dreaming this.
think so?
um, yeah, but not in a bad way. I feel like if it was a dream, then I wouldn't feel so connected to it,
Right,
you know?
right.
So like, yeah, they would come out perfect, but I wouldn't feel like I was a part of it. Because I don't
Oh,
feel
yeah,
like I'm a
yeah.
part of my dreams.
Yeah?
No, I always feel like I'm observing them. I think that's part
Oh.
of why I have that
I've had
sort
some
of
really weird dreams lately, like bizarre, like just like what is happening? Like what is my subconscious trying to tell me? I think I don't know. I have to go see someone to like explain. I need to go to like a dream doctor or something. I don't know.
yeah, apparently like there's a lot that can be said like once you interpret your dreams. You
Oh,
ever like write them down?
I think there's a whole universe of information that you can unlock from your dreams sometimes.
Yeah,
But
it's all in your brain. You know what you want in your life.
yeah, I guess sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't know if something else that we spoke about last time about like envisioning what people want in their lives, and why it's so hard to like achieve goals. And I'm sure social media is like part of the problem, but you know,
Yeah. I mean, like, I still like encounter that with people a lot where I will ask them, like, what do you want in your life? And I
yeah,
still get the same answer where I just want to be happy. And I'm like,
right,
well,
right. What does happy mean though? What does
what
that
does
mean?
that look
What is
like?
that? What is happy? I don't
Like,
know.
I think about that
It's
a
a
lot,
state,
you know? Yeah.
right?
Like, how, like, what does your life look like when at that point where you say, yes, I'm happy in this?
Yeah.
And what are you feeling and where are
Mm,
you? And like,
mm.
where do you go from there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think happy is just a state of mind, though. I don't think it comes from like a specific thing in your life. I think it's just a state of mind that you just constantly. It's just how your brain is wired.
It's true.
I think I read that in a book somewhere. Because that's I'm not smart enough to like know that myself. So yeah, I think
I
it's a state of
find that
mind.
I often say that I've like read something and then I realize later that it was like somebody posted something online and
Right.
I just read that.
Yeah, yeah.
I do that a lot in my conversations where I'll say like my friend said this and they didn't. My friend didn't say that. It's just I saw a post somewhere.
Yeah, I saw it was on
We're
my
all
feed.
friends online.
Yeah, it was on my feed subconsciously. But no,
Yeah,
it's true. Like happy is just such a generic term. Like, okay,
I mean, like,
now what?
yeah, am I happier than I was last year? Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
um, but that's sort of my goal every year, you know, to like be
Yeah.
in a better place than I was the year before.
Right. Right.
And it's sometimes hard when you don't know if when you feel like you're standing in one place.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I like about pictures is that I can reflect back on like the things
Yeah.
that I was doing last year. I find that it's like it helps me relive my memories
Yeah.
and then I can feel different aspects of what I was feeling in that moment.
Yeah. It takes you back to that time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're able to look at it with perspective rather than just feeling in the moment, you know,
Right.
because like I do feel a lot of things in the moment, but when I go back and look at things later, I'm like, I can look back on what I was feeling with a different perspective.
Yeah, because you had more time to process it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it does help me. I lost my sister in 2023, and
Yeah.
looking back at pictures and videos of her, that really helped me like process my grief a lot and deal with that. Just because you never feel like you have enough time, and you never feel like you're appreciating anything in the moment. Like you always think like, oh, well, there's always tomorrow. There's another time. Like I could be mad today and I'll forgive them like next week or next month. But it is so nice to be able to have like the little moments and like that I was enjoying at the time, and then be able to look back at it with perspective and remember like I was happy, I did have time. It's because when you're grieving and when you're dealing with like loss, you're like, well, I didn't appreciate this, like I didn't appreciate this person, I didn't appreciate my time that I had. But for me, when I go back and I look at the photos that I had taken, like I remember like I did have the time. I still have time because I took the time, I took the pictures, I took the videos. Like I'm able to go back and remember that no, I did appreciate the people in my life, I did appreciate the moments that I was growing. Because it can be so hard to lose sight of that, and to especially when you're like not in a great headspace, it's so easy to like feel like, oh well, I didn't make any right decisions, I didn't do anything right, or I didn't say anything that like made anything better. But when you go back, you realize that you did have like a beautiful life and beautiful memories. I think that it's hard for people when they're grieving to see that. Like I dealt with that a lot, with thinking like, and like even taking pictures after the fact of like my grieving process. I took a lot of like landscape photos, like and like because I wanted to like sort of take pictures of how I was feeling. So like even when I look back at like some of the landscapes that I had taken during that time, I feel it like they're heavier to me. Like I can feel myself processing it through the photos.
Right.
And that really helped me. Like I find that it helps me,
Sure. Of course, yeah.
And like there's other ways that you can do it, but like even like they were like me being quiet, like sitting in that moment saying like, well, this is how I can share like this lake with this person that's not here anymore, And
it's almost like have that connection back a little bit, you have that connection a little bit. Yeah.
It does. It's really helpful to feel like you have those little bits of yourself and the person and everything that you're feeling in that moment, because then I'm able to look back at it and say like, okay, like I was sad, but I'm growing, like look at how far I've grown from this one place that I was at. Like these are photos that I took that I was not being true to myself, and I can see that now where they're not authentic. Like that happened. Like there were pictures that I had taken during times in my life where I wasn't happy, and like if you look at them really superficially, then they look like happy photos. But me looking back on it, like I feel like it helps me to grow because I know that I'm not in that position anymore.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm glad you have those memories, right? To have and to look back on, it's important.
Yeah. I mean, like there's this song that I've been listening to the last like a week or so. It's a new Bad Bunny song. So basically, it just translates. I wish I had taken more photos. It's the song is DTMF, and he talks about that, and it's more like the song's about culture and gentrification of Puerto Rico, and just losing space. But it is like about grieving as well, and like, you know, I find that, like, again, like that a lot of that is deeply personal, and so it resonates more.
Of course.
When you're more personal with your art, it's
Yeah.
not about what other people like. It'll resonate with the right people.
Yeah, I mean, again, that always goes back to, like, you know, if you like it, if you have a connection to it, then that's all that really matters. Like, it's really, I mean, what else is there, you know?
I feel like people like need to remember that being creative is more about like finding your voice and your vision within yourself than it is like an external like force or searching for validation. You know,
it's
like
not a trend. It's not a trend on TikTok. It's not a trend.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be thinking about going viral when you're taking when you're doing art, when you're being creative. You shouldn't be thinking like, how are people going to accept this? You should be thinking like, how am I going to look back on it?
Right. It's a great way to look at it. How am I like how will I look back on this in a year, 2 years, 5 years?
Yeah, like what will I think of this?
Yeah, because you're trying to make yourself proud.
Yeah.
In a way.
And that's a big thing. Like, that's something that I said even last time that we were on, is that like I look back on my own Instagram feed and like I like it. It's for me. There's photos that I took that I want to look back and and that's how I feel like other people should think about it too. You know, you should view it as like, this is for me. It's not for other people to look at and enjoy. Like, it's great to like if other people want to look or if other people are happy, but like I want to be able to like go back and look and scroll through my own feed and be like, yeah, I like this. Yeah. Oh, that was a good shot. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds so easy, but
it's not.
For the general public.
Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes people don't view it that way. They think like, oh, you're like posting or taking photos, or even like having these personal point of view shots. It's almost like they think that you're revealing too much of yourself, or they think that they know you or what's going on in your life. And I don't post again, like, I think that it's important not like to be authentic, but it's not about exposing like all of my secrets or laying out all of my feelings. It's like, because I'm not posting photos that I had taken that day or that hour or sometimes even that month, you know, I'm taking photos that I've been looking back on, that I have been like revisiting. And then I'll take a picture of something and I'll post it because I want to commemorate it for myself. Like, I want it on my grid. I don't do a lot of the stacks. I don't like to do photo dumps. It's like one moment.
One moment only.
Yeah, you get
stands alone.
Yeah, you got one shot.
You got one shot. You got to make it count.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder like what would happen if like Instagram took away like the like button and see what people did. Took away likes and comments, and all it is just you're just looking at people's stuff.
Um,
Imagine how that would change the world.
I think that like there was like they did experiment
They did.
a couple years ago with trying to take away like
The count.
hiding the like count,
Yeah.
and it really upset a lot of people actually. So they brought it back because yeah, like there was a lot of people that were like, no, I want to see how many people like my
Yeah.
post.
That's the whole like that's how people get sucked in. But like imagine at the very start, like there was no like, there was no comment. You're just posting and you don't even know like who's looking.
Like I
Imagine.
think about it, like could you imagine like Picasso doing a like painting an oil painting and
Oh
saying
man.
like, oh, this is gonna get 100 likes?
No, I don't think yeah. Picasso, man. That's what I mean. You gotta be if you want to be the best of the best, you gotta be on the same level as Picasso. And Picasso though doesn't care about Instagram.
He
He's
did
doing his
not
own
care
thing.
about Instagram. He
He
was
doesn't care about
not,
anybody.
yeah.
He does his own thing.
He was not
That's
for the masses.
that's what I mean. Like the best of the best, they don't care about like they're not even on social media. Like you don't even know about them.
Like, I had told one of my friends not too long ago that because they said like, wow, you have so many photos on your page. Because I do. I have like probably an insane amount of photos.
Over 1,000?
Yeah, I think I have over 4,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You ever go
I
back
don't
to
track them.
you ever go back to photo one?
I have actually a couple times.
Jeez. What was
And
it? Do you remember?
yeah, it was it was actually an older photo that I had taken from like a year before that I was like
Oh yeah.
excited about like food that I had made when I was like working and in kitchens. You know,
Okay.
so I was like it was like a special plating and I was like very excited about it.
Nice.
But because I was playing with everything at the time, like everything was like heavily filtered. And yeah, they all had those frames when they used
Oh
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
frames.
Oh yeah. I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I found that like even now, like I don't like to do a lot of adjusting on the photos that I take.
Mhm.
If anything, I'll just sharpen the details, like um, after in my when I'm going through photos, like and I'm editing, I will, if anything, I'll just sharpen them to
Yeah.
detail so that
Yeah.
I pay more attention. And I find that that's not the case with everybody. But what I do is like because I feel like I want it to be more real of like what I was thinking in that moment, what I
Right.
was feeling, like how I was viewing things.
Right.
Like I don't want it to feel artificial to me.
How it looks in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. It can be difficult sometimes because when I am taking pictures of like my friends or my family, like a lot of the times like they do want like the filters or they want to be smoothed out or
What do you say?
no,
Sorry.
I've said okay a couple of times and then again like they don't feel authentic to me. But I like I try to make it like again if they're posing for the picture then that's them being it's then and if they have a say in it then I feel like it's just as much their photo as it is mine.
Right.
But I do keep the unedited photos for myself. For every photo that I have, there's probably like a couple dozen photos that I've taken. I have so many photos in my Google photo that my Google Drive. Um, it is they actually did a photo wrapped for me this year, which was
Oh,
very
really?
exciting.
On
Yeah,
Google Photos?
yeah.
I never got one. How do you get that?
You gotta take more photos.
Yes. Jeez. You got a photo wrapped? Was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
good? They did a good job?
Yeah, I was very surprised. Like they broke
Wow.
down the colors that I'd taken
Wow.
in photos, and green was the top color this year for
Was
me.
it like to music or was it just
Yeah, it very much
wow.
looked like a Spotify Wrapped.
Jeez. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, it was
All
very
right.
cool.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
like it said, like it tracked my longest photo streak, which was like I think 180 days.
That's it?
Yeah. Um,
6 months?
I'm hoping that I can actually like break that this year, actually.
You gonna try to do that?
Yeah, yeah.
You just gotta
Um,
get to like August or July. August
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I mean, I've
Awesome.
been taking a lot of pictures, so we'll see. We'll
Okay, interesting.
yeah, so like and it's not even so much that like I want to have a streak, it's that like I find that taking more photos like makes me want to take more photos, like
Yes.
doing it more. It's like when I
Momentum.
drink more
Momentum, yeah.
water, I want to drink water more.
It's good. It's a good way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that's part of it why like I'll find myself like sitting out somewhere, like I'm in university, and sometimes even when I'm in class,
Yeah.
I'm like, this would be a very cool point of view if I could take
Behind
this.
the scenes. Behind the
I
scenes with
have,
the professor.
yeah, I have done that a couple of times where I said like,
Nice.
Professor, can I just take a quick photo of like this little thing
Yeah,
on my desk really quick?
that's cool.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, like pushing yourself to take more risks and putting yourself more out there
Yeah.
really like makes you more creative. Like it puts you in like the headspace where you're
Sure.
viewing things differently,
Yeah,
like
of
almost
course.
like in a more cinematic way.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like there I had like so like that sort of, yeah, like last year I was pushing myself. I was you know, my theme was try new things.
Yeah.
And this year it's all about being more intentional again.
Yeah.
You know, drilling down on the things that I want, on the things that I
Mm.
enjoy doing, and
Mhm.
really like taking things to the next level.
Nice. Next level. I like that. Cool.
Yeah,
How
so
are you
like
gonna do it?
more videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like I spent a lot of time focusing on like photos, single frame.
Right.
But yeah, like I want to do more. I have been more interested in thinking about like videos. Like
Yeah.
how would I want to like edit something? What do I want
Mhm.
to
Sure.
what would I
Go for
want
it.
it to look like? Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I don't know if I could do like vlogs. Like I know that you're big into vlog style. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's,
You could
yeah.
do it. I'm sure you could do it. Little practice, you could do it, I'm sure.
um I think that I would need to be more comfortable being in front of the camera for that. That's part of the
Mm.
reason why I think I like the photos. It's more from my point of view, so I'm
Right.
not the subject.
Right,
Like
right,
it's
right.
my vision, but it's not me.
Yeah, you got it. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
But yeah, like I am starting to think about that too of like, okay, like is it okay? Like am I going to start like putting myself in a position to be in front of a camera more?
Gotta
Like
try it once.
yeah, I mean like I'm starting
At
to
home.
think about becoming more comfortable with it, you know. That's part of the reason why I've been thinking about like videos, you know, how I want to take the next step in my like creative vision, my voice, like finding my
Yeah.
way in this
Yeah.
like artistic world and being like creative.
Never ends. It's all about just like setting like small little goals too, right? Like, say you want to do a video. Okay, so maybe like one day you're just gonna talk like, at home when there's nobody around. You're just talking from the camera for like 2 minutes and just see how it goes, right? You have
Yeah.
one little mini step.
Yeah,
Right?
like I think that's a like it is like it's all about like just doing the things that you say you're going to do. So like
Yeah.
that's how I am with my goals. So if I say it out loud that and then I find that I'm more committed to them. If I tell one person, even if I say it out loud to myself, if I like write it down, then like that's me saying like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. Like like I want to be a person that does what they say they're going to do when they're going to do it.
Yeah, and it's also like that's why it's so important to be like accountable to yourself because if no one's gonna ask you, then no one's gonna ask you. So how do people know if you did it or not? And that's a
Exactly.
slippery slope, right? So you gotta be accountable to yourself, which I think people kind of like miss sometimes, where it's like, well, it's not your job. There's no boss. Someone's asking you, so you can. I'll just do it next week. I'll do it next month. But that's when
Yeah.
things fall off the rails, right?
I think that's why people are like shy away from, you know, growing themselves like creatively or following like passions because they think like, oh no, I need to work a job. Like, okay, but what is like what is your life if you don't have passion in it? Like what
Yeah.
is your passion if it's not creative?
Well, it could be anything, right? It could be fixing
Yeah.
cars. I don't know. It could be
And
anything. It's just
and there and it's something that like it doesn't have to be one distinct thing. Um
yeah,
you just need to find something that you really enjoy doing or that helps you grow in your
right,
life, you know?
right.
I
Yeah,
really enjoy that.
yeah.
And
Are you
that's
still
how I
using? Are you
this.
still using vision boards?
I do. I am
Yeah,
using vision boards.
nice. It's good.
Last year it was my first physical vision board that I made. I
Oh,
made it,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
And it actually like went really well. Since it is still January, I guess I probably could do another one this year. I always make vision boards in Pinterest, so I do have like an actual
Yeah.
2025 vision board on my Pinterest.
Cool.
um, and I use that to like set my goals and to visualize how I want my year to go.
Yeah.
Um, because it's for me, it's been incredibly helpful since I started doing them. It's been about 5 years, and my years have been closer and closer to my vision boards every year.
Cool. Like it actually works.
It has been working for me. I think it's more of just like again like accountability, just like
Right.
visualizing my goals, like making it more concrete. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there. I'm saying like this is what I intend to do. This is what I intend my life to look like next year. And it doesn't have to be like exact of what I pick. It's more how close am I to the goal that I set.
Mm.
And that's how I was able to get to a place where I do feel like I am a lot happier in my life now than I was before I started making the vision boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Um, I feel like I have more control over, you know, like my future and even my present. Um,
Yeah. Gotta start
and
making some vision boards.
yeah, like and what I do with my vision boards is I'll make them for different areas of my life. So
Right.
like What do I want my goals to look like? What kind of hobbies am I going to have? Like, am I going to travel? Like,
Mm,
what do I see myself? What sort of, like, even home do I see myself in? Like, what,
yeah,
like, do I, and I found that, like, by doing that, I've been able to, like, more carefully curate my actual life,
yeah,
and rather than, um, so I feel like I am being more authentic to myself when I take photos, um, because I do have that in the back of my head. Like, this is what I like, what I want my life to look like, or this is what, like, I am going towards. This is where
yeah,
I'm headed.
yeah. I think it helps when you can actually see it on
It
a
does.
board, or if you put it, what you write it down in a journal or whatever the thing is. But if you actually see it, I think it helps people like at least connect to it instead of just a thought in your head where it just kind of passes by.
Yeah, and I think that's what helps with accountability too, because you're able to visually see, like, how close you got to what you were thinking.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
because yeah, when it's just a thought in your head, like I was talking about that in class today. Thoughts are
Yeah,
like, ideas are abstract. They're all internal. Like, it
yeah.
doesn't, like, an idea can be anything.
Mm,
um but the opportunity to make your idea a reality is external.
right,
It's not going to be an internal thing,
right.
because it's all about, like, your surroundings, like your, like, actual actions and how those affect the world around you.
Yeah, interesting, eh? Yeah, ideas just come, you never know. I also read that there are no more original ideas out there. Everything's been done.
Um
So the idea is like your take on the idea, which
my one of
which
my
is
favorite
original, though.
one of my favorite quotes from a movie is, who knows where thoughts come from? They just appear.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I feel like that all the time, where it's like, who knows where
Don't
that
know.
thought came from? It's in my
It just
head.
comes. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's different approaches to it. Like you can call it the muse, or you can call it like ideas just float around and then they go to like people that are open to the idea. Like if someone's open to the idea, then the idea will come. But if you're not open to the idea, then it's not going to come. So there's different. If you read different people's books on that stuff, there's different philosophies on like where actually ideas come from, and who knows really, right? So
Yeah. I mean, that's really true. Like, you can, like, find your ideas, and you can how like develop your creativity through different methods. Like, some people like to meditate.
yeah, that too.
I'm not great at that.
Meditation. Is
Yeah,
that a
I've been
goal? Is that
working
going
on
to be a
it.
goal for you, you think?
I've been working on it, actually. I'm in therapy, and my therapist has several times mentioned that it would help me a great deal. And, like, she also suggested that taking more walks will help me, like, will greatly help me quiet the noise in my head, which it really does. Her
Without the phone.
advice
Without the
works.
phone.
Yeah.
Without the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going out and walking, and um it's also like, yeah, it's not about distracting yourself. I think that is hard for people to do, like, um but I find that, like, that helps me. Maybe that is my meditation, where,
Could
like, I'm
be.
starting to be more quiet in
Yeah,
my
I don't
life.
I don't
Yeah.
think I don't think meditation is just sitting alone in a room cross-legged. I think it can be different things.
Yeah.
Walking, journaling. Like I don't think it has to be one specific exercise anymore.
Yeah, I think that makes
You
a lot of
know? Like
sense.
whatever quiets your mind, I think is also meditation. Like even going to the gym can be meditation in a way. So
Yeah. And, like, It's good. Like, you need to be able to sit with your own thoughts sometimes in order to be able to figure out like what the next step is. Like, what
Yeah.
when
Like,
where the
what's going on with you?
next
You're asking yourself, like,
yeah, like,
what's going on with me these
why
days?
can't I get past this one little moment? Like,
Yeah.
what is like has me stuck in this like one frame of mind? And like
Yeah.
sometimes like I just recently started running again. I was running
Nice.
before the pandemic in the before times. I was in
Okay.
a running group when I lived in the
Nice.
suburbs.
Yeah.
And I had stopped all that and I was like doing other things. And I did tried hiking for a while and I recently started running again. And
Nice.
well, it's not my favorite thing. I actually like really don't like it at all. But
Wow.
I find that it is the most effective at quieting my mind.
Yeah. Well, because it forces you to focus on something.
Yeah. And I mean, so like often people say like, "Well, how do you feel after that?" I'm like, "Well, it was awful, but
I hated
but
every
I
minute
do
of it.
feel better."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was terrible. Immediately awful.
How
But
long did you run for?
um so how long do I run for?
Yeah. Like how long's the run?
Between 45 minutes to an hour.
Jeez. Okay. Serious.
Yeah, I signed up to run a 10K this year, so I
Nice. Where?
the Toronto Marathon, the 10K
Oh
portion
yeah.
of it. Yeah, it's in May.
I might do one of those.
Yeah.
I just don't like running on pavement.
Yeah,
I don't like
I'm
running on
not
pavement.
super excited about being outside and running. So far all of my runs have been on treadmills, which I
Yeah.
always find like I don't know why. I feel like I have more control doing it, so like I can go
Yeah.
for longer.
Sure.
And I run faster when I'm on a treadmill.
Yeah.
When I'm running outside, I'm like, I want to stop after 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's a different thing, but yeah, I don't like running. I prefer running on like in trails because at least the trails it's softer on your knees and legs,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
plus it's just more quiet. You don't have to worry about getting run over by a car.
I find that the
Not
cars,
too.
yeah, like can be a little overwhelming if I try running outside. But I luckily I live kind of close to well, I guess everyone in the city lives close to trails now. So I live close to a trail that like is like a little bit out of the way, so you don't I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
the noise of the cars.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I just prefer trails because it's quiet and it becomes more of like a meditative thing. So that's why like I've thought about doing the marathon or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I don't like running on pavement.
Do you do any distance running then?
Like in the summertime, like when it gets warmer outside, I'll do like a 10K. I'll do a 10K outside, like in like the trails.
Ah, okay.
So like I'll do that, but like it's by myself. Like I'm not in a group. I just go by myself. Like it's just me.
Do you think
But
that yeah, like do you think that that's why you feel like it's more meditative that you're like running by
probably,
yourself? Yeah.
probably. And then I think maybe I should meet people. And I'm thinking, well, no, this is just for me. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just like usually I'll go like 7:30. Like when it's summertime, it's like 7:30 or like 8 o'clock, and I'll just go. I don't have to wait for anybody. I don't have to call anybody. I'll just do my thing and get it over with. You know.
Yeah, you're like a morning person, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
prefer morning workouts versus because it just I don't know. I just feel better after. This is my thing. But
um yeah, I mean it's like both like obvious and surprising that like physical activity clears your mind and actually makes you feel better.
yeah, it does. It just like the hardest part is always just getting out the door. Very similar to like photography, where the hardest part is leaving the house with the camera. But once you're there, you're there. That feels good. So
Yeah.
you just gotta get past the first bit of it. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that is true. That is
The
exactly how I approach
hardest part's
both of them.
it's always leaving the house. It's like I'll do it
Yeah,
tomorrow or whatever
like
whatever the excuse is. You know.
Yeah, once you get past the like, oh, I don't know if I do this? Am I gonna do this? Like,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna stay
10K
home.
today. Like, oh God, it's gonna rain or something. Like whatever. Like the excuses will never end. You just gotta. That's what I mean. Like being accountable to that. If you say you're gonna do the 10K marathon, then sign up and do it. And then you're in.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially if it
Again, like
costs money.
I said it out loud, so now I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I guess so. Eh? It'll be fun. You get to meet people. You know, like-minded people. Even though you hate it. So
I'm sure I'll find other people
yeah.
who like equally dislike it and
You
and
hate
are
it too? Oh my
doing it.
God, we're besties.
Yeah,
Hate every minute of this thing. Oh my
yeah,
God, it's
yeah.
hilarious.
But
Awesome.
surprisingly feel better afterwards.
Yeah, I guess there's coffee after or something,
Oh, I mean, coffee makes everything better,
right?
doesn't it?
It's so simple, yet it's so true, you know?
And like, there's always a new coffee shop to try, so that's what I like about
Never
it.
ends, right? Never ends. There always is a new one for sure.
Yeah,
For sure, right? Well,
yeah,
thanks, Alice. We're up against the hour, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I just want to say thanks again for coming back on.
yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I always like coming here.
crushed it. Crushed
Yeah.
it. Any final words for the listeners, watchers?
Yeah. Do what you say you're gonna do when you say you're gonna do it.
Especially if it's recorded on the internet.
Exactly.
And it becomes even tougher to like avoid.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all good. Um,
Yeah.
Pleasure chatting. Hopefully, are you going to come out for Creator Day on February 17th, which is
I
Family
am
Day?
actually. I signed up for
Are you
that.
coming
Yeah,
out?
I'll be there. Yep,
Okay,
bringing
that'd be
my
fun.
camera and everything and all of my lenses. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be like 1,000 people coming apparently, so we'll see what happens with that.
That's pretty exciting, I think.
I posted on Threads. And it's like everyone's like all excited. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So we'll see. We'll see who actually comes out. Hopefully, just not minus 45 outside.
I hope so.
Hopefully, some more polar vortex. You know.
I hope it's done by then.
I hope so too. So cool. We'll see you then. Eh?
Yeah, sounds great.
Nope. Everyone, check out Alice. Links are in the description of this podcast, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Thanks.